Good afternoon, seventh graders. Let's take some quick notes and figure out Pythagorean's theorem. So right here, it says, how do I use Pythagorean theorem to find missing side lengths of right triangles? Well, you're going to need to process that there are three sides to a right triangle, or any triangle for this matter, and that the A and B sides, okay, mentioned there and there, are called the legs, okay? Those are called the legs. They are adjacent, or they are adjacent sides, which means they connect, they touch, to form the right triangle. Side C is called the hypotenuse. Hypotenuse, it is the longest side. Every single time, it's the longest side. And you'll never forget it because it's the diagonal side, or the slanty side. So those are the key characteristics you need to remember about a right triangle. Because to use Pythagorean's theorem, we have to have a right triangle, which means the legs are adjacent. We have the third side, which is the longest side, also called the hypotenuse, and it is the slanted or diagonal side. Now this formula from Pythagoras is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. Again, Pythagoras' theorem or formula was a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And we use that theorem to find the missing side length in a right triangle. So right here, I'm going to write right triangle. To find the missing side length, all we're going to do is plug in the given values into the equation, theorem, or formula, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to call it an equation, but it's a theorem, it's a formula, it's all that stuff. You're going to plug it into the equation and solve for the unknown variable. Easy enough, hopefully. This next part says, label the sides of the triangle with A, B, and C, and draw an arrow from the right angle to the hypotenuse. So we have a right angle there. I'm going to draw an arrow, and this is the hypotenuse, or the C side. That means that the other sides are A and B. Okay? So there's A, and there's B. But they're interchangeable. Don't forget, they are interchangeable. So now I'm going to do the same thing here on this next one. Got the C side, got the C side, and I got the C side, which means all the other sides are A and B. Bam. The Pythagorean theorem, we can use the Pythagorean theorem to find the missing side lengths on problems 1 through 9. Round to the nearest tenth if necessary. So let's get it. For our first one here, it says find a missing hypotenuse, which is the C side, right? So that's what we're going to be looking for. Right here, on number 1, we have the formula. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. Okay? Now, c is always opposite the right angle, which makes this a and this b. So, we have 3 squared for the a, and then the b is 12 squared. All of that's going to be set equal to c squared. 3 times 3 is 9. 12 times 12 is 144. All of that is going to be equal to c squared. We add that together, and we have 153 is equal to c squared. Now, ladies and gents, what the key detail before I end this video that I need y'all to see is that we did not look for c squared. We need to find c, which means we need to take the square root. So you go to your calculator, find the square root, and you'll get 12.4 is equal to c. This makes sense because c has to be the longest side. So continuing on, students, you just saw number 1, which is finding a missing hypotenuse, but then you're going to see things like finding a missing leg. So right here, let me go ahead and add, I made it to the highlighter. Let me make this the color blue. So missing leg like an A or maybe a B. And I'm going to do number 4 for us. So keep in mind that C is always opposite the right angle, and we have A and B here. So this effectively becomes c squared minus b squared, which is a squared. Okay, keeping that same energy from before, we plug in. C is 7, so it's 7 squared. B is 4, so it's 4 squared. Okay, and 7 squared is 49. 4 squared is 16. So we have 49 minus 16, which is 33, equals a squared. But once again, we're not looking for a square, we're looking for the side length. So we got to do the square root of that side. And when you do, you will get 5.7 is equal to a. Okay. Use this information to do the rest of the problems on here. I know that y'all got this. If there's any questions or concerns, know that I will be back on Monday to help, or sorry, school's out on Monday, so I'll be back on Tuesday to help you out. Y'all have a blessed day now. See you then.